How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Infinite Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth Gruenfelder. To recap the series over the weekend between the Yankees and the Red Sox, the final meeting between these two teams in the regular season, and the Yankees took 2 out of 3, and they complete the gauntlet of these 12 games. They go 7-5. They take 2 out of 3 from Houston. They take 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Tigers, and now they took 2 out of 3 against the Red Sox. So they go 7-5 over this stretch here. And that's a lot better. Well, I shouldn't say a lot better, but it is better than what I expected. I thought it was going to be more of, they were going to lose more than they won. I thought they would go 4-8, 5-7. But you'll take it. However, the Yankees did lose ground yesterday by falling 6-4 to the Red Sox in the final game. The Blue Jays ended up winning. They didn't lose over the weekend to the Orioles. And now the Yankees are 4 games back in the division. And I've said it all along, despite them playing well over this stretch, that I thought that the division is kind of out of reach at this point, and I think you got to aim for the wild card. And the Yankees are in a very good spot when it comes to the wild card. So that's what they're going to be playing in. And it's going to be the first time they play in this new structure, the first time they're playing in the wild card round, because we've seen them play in the wild card game a handful of times, 2015, 2017, 2021, but now this will be the first time this year, barring a collapse by the Blue Jays. I mean, there's still a couple of weeks left, but I just don't think the Blue Jays are going to lose the lead. I think the Yankees are ultimately going to be playing in the wild card. Now, it depends on whether it's going to be at Yankee Stadium, it's going to be in Boston. We'll have to see. But, I think as everything kind of stands right now, I think it's going to be the Yankees and the Red Sox playing against each other in the wild card, and then it's going to be the third division winner, which it looks like it's going to be whoever comes out of the AL West against an AL West team that is also in the wild cards. Right now it's Seattle. Houston leads the way in the West, and then you got the Rangers right there as well. So it's going to be an exciting finish down the stretch. But when it comes to these 3 games against the Red Sox, going to go back to this series, every team, the team that scored first, won the game, and both teams scored first in the first inning when they won their respective games. The Yankees, they scored in the first inning in the first 2 games. The Red Sox, they put up a crooked number in the first inning last night. And, I mean, you could say that decided the game. Although, I mean, once the Yankees are down 6-0 last night, I thought there was no chance. Although they did battle back. We'll get into it. But on Friday on Apple TV, Aaron Judge, in his first at-bat of the game, hits a home run off of Lucas Giolito. And that now surpassed him, or he now surpasses Joe DiMaggio on the all-time Yankee home run list. And he also hit another one last night, so he's at 48 homers. So when it's all said and done, Aaron Judge is going to have yet another 50-plus home run season. Cody Bellinger in the top of the third inning had an RBI single. Ryan McMahon later in the game had a fielder's choice that led to a scored run. Caballero ended up scoring. The Red Sox threw home. They didn't get the out. I thought he was going to be out, but the Narvaez couldn't catch the ball and tag him out. And then Ben Rice had a single in that same inning to put them up 4-0. Nate Eaton for the Red Sox. He hit his first homer of the season off of Fernando Cruz. But that was the only run that the Red Sox had on Friday. Red Sox had 3 errors in this game. Yankees had a couple of errors as well. Luis Gil, 6 strong innings. Walks, again, continue to be a problem. He had 4 walks in this game. Got himself into trouble, but, again, got out of it. He had 4 strikeouts. Fernando Cruz, 3 strikeouts. In his inning of work, Devin Williams pitched a scoreless 8th inning, and Bednar came in to close out the 9th inning. So the bullpen did its job. Yankees did just enough to win that game. And then the same thing goes for Saturday, although the Red Sox did score a couple more runs. Bellinger, sac fly in the first inning. Jazz, an RBI single. Jazz had a big game. 3 hits, 3 RBIs. Had another RBI single in the top of the third, and then he had his 29th homer of the season. So he's going to have 30-plus stolen bases and 30-plus home runs this year. What a year for Jazz. His 29th homer in the top of the 5th to put the Yankees up 4-0. Then Bregman had a homer in the bottom of the 5th. Connor Wong, an RBI single in the bottom of the 6th. And then Jarren Duran, I think this was a pinch hit home run. That was off of Fernando Cruz. And Bellinger had a big insurance run, an RBI double in the top of the 9th. But yeah, that was off of Fernando Cruz. So Max Fried, 5 1/3, gave up 9 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Luke Weaver pitched 2/3 of an inning, was able to get out of the 6th. Because I think the Red Sox they had guys on base. So we can go back to the bottom of the 6th. And, of course, I click out of it. But, yeah, I think because that was the inning I think the Red Sox had. They had guys on base, and they knocked Fried out of the game. So, so Nate Eaton singled, Sogard singled, then Connor Wong singled. So 3 straight hits to make it 4-2. Then they put in Luke Weaver, and then he strikes out Rafaela, and he strikes out Romy Gonzalez to end the inning. So that was a big outing from Luke Weaver. And then Devin Williams again comes in, pitches a scoreless inning, scoreless 7th inning, no traffic on the bases, does his job. Fernando Cruz does give up another home run. So now his ERA has really inflated over the last few appearances for him. In his last 7 games, he has an ERA over 10. So that's not good. We got to get Fernando Cruz back on track here. And then David Bednar, another clean 9th inning. And yeah, so the Yankees picked up 10 hits. The Red Sox had 10 hits in this game as well. A couple of hits from Bellinger, a couple of hits from Judge, a couple of walks. Ben Rice had a hit, Caballero a hit. Austin Wells went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. McMahon went 0 for 4 as well. But yeah, there was no Stanton in the lineup. Dominguez picked up a hit in this game too. He got the start in left field. Judge was the DH. Last night we saw Austin Slater again leading off. The Yankees went with the heavy right-handed lineup. Stanton was out in left field, kind of misplayed a ball in the first inning. Will Warren couldn't get anybody out in the first inning. He surrendered 10 hits, gave up 6 earned runs in the first inning. But you know what? To give him credit, I mean, he still got through the 5th inning. And then the bullpen did its job. Yankees tried to mount a comeback. You had a 2-run homer by Ahmed Rosario, his first home run with the Yankees. Then you had Judge, another home run. He took it to right center off of Crochet. And then later in the game off of Steven Matz, Caballero hit a home run, but he struck out 3 times. But yeah, 16 strikeouts the Yankees had yesterday. They just continue to strike out a lot. Garrett Crochet pitched very well. 12 strikeouts, 1 walk, 3 earned runs, 5 hits. But yeah, once the Yankees were down 6-0, they weren't going to come back. But, I mean, look, after the 6th inning, Yankees didn't surrender a run. You know, Duvall pitched a scoreless inning, Mark Leiter Jr., and then even Paul Blackburn. So, you know, in the Yankees last night, they went 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. It really wasn't a ton of traffic on the bases. It was just the long ball was their source of offense last night, which is typically what it is, usually, for this team. So, but Stanton had 3 strikeouts last night. Austin Slater hasn't really given the Yankees anything. But they had him leading off last night. So, look, all things considered, everybody, 2 out of 3 you take, right? You just take the series. It's hard to sweep, you know, and the way the stretch was set up to be, you didn't know how the Yankees were going to play, right? You thought it wasn't going to go so well. Well, I thought it wasn't going to go so well. But yes, you'll take 7-5. That first inning was not great last night. Red Sox got to Will Warren, and that's what happens with Will Warren against these playoff teams, like against the Blue Jays, you know, against the Dodgers over the summer. You know, he lets the game get away. But if you take out those starts and you take out the start from last night, I mean, he's had a good year. And look, he's not going to be somebody that's going to get postseason starts. The Yankees' postseason rotation is going to be Fried, Rodon, and then whether it's going to be Schlittler or Luis Gil getting Game 3. You know, and even if there even is a Game 3, if they have them playing in the wild card potentially, because they could either get swept or they sweep the team that they go up against. But yeah, Will Warren is probably going to be the odd man out. But you know, Jose Caballero has looked good. You know, he's provided more of a spark as opposed to Anthony Volpe, who was taking grounders and was available off the bench last night. So it's possible he's going to be back in the lineup soon. Actually, take a look at what the starting lineup for the Yankees is tonight as they get set to take on the Minnesota Twins. So now they're at the soft part of their schedule. They got the Twins, they got the Orioles twice, and they got the White Sox in between the 2 Orioles series. So you got Grisham leading off, Judge back in right field, batting second, Bellinger left field, batting third, Stanton fourth, the DH, Jazz Chisholm batting fifth, second base, Paul Goldschmidt first base, batting sixth, batting seventh, Ryan McMahon batting at third base, Jose Caballero batting eighth, playing shortstop, and then Austin Wells, the catcher, will be batting ninth. And it's Carlos Rodon against Woods Richardson. for the Twins. So Twins are not good, and the Yankees own the Twins, so they got to take advantage of this. Blue Jays will be getting a 3-game series with the Rays. But like I said, 4 games out, it's going to be tough to make up that ground. But I mean, the Yankees got the soft part of their schedule. The Rays got, I think, the Red Sox twice. Or no, they got the Rays twice. They got the Red Sox, and then I forget who else they play. But they got a little bit of a tougher schedule than the Yankees do down the stretch. But I still think the Blue Jays are going to take the division. So, look, you'll take it. The Yankees are in a good spot right now, and they just got to finish the season strong. And you could look at it from this angle. If the Yankees are playing in the wild card, one of the biggest things, and this is the number one key for the Yankees going into the postseason. Aaron Judge needs to get hot, and Aaron Judge needs to hit in the postseason. Because if Aaron Judge can hit in the postseason, this makes this Yankees team a lot more legit going in. Lethal. Because last year, you didn't really have Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge was really not providing the Yankees with anything a lot of times. Striking out. But once in a while, he had the home run off of Class A. He had the home run earlier in that Guardian series. He hit the home run in Game 5 of the World Series. They need that Aaron Judge. Not the one, well, obviously things unraveled after that home run. But you know what I'm saying. From at the plate, they need Aaron Judge to be himself in these playoffs. And if Aaron Judge is hot going into this postseason, a layoff could affect you. So if he's coming in, and look, he hit the home run off of Crochet, although he strikes out a bunch of times against Crochet, I get it. And he had that home run against him to tie the game in the 9th inning over the summer. But Judge needs to be hot going into this postseason. And then Stan's kind of cooled off. You expect him to get it going in the postseason because that's when he rises. And, you expect Bellinger to step up. Look, the biggest worry that I have right now is the bullpen, which usually isn't a worry. It did pitch well in this series. For the most part, like I said, they got to get Fernando Cruz right. But look, Devin Williams looked strong. Bednar continues to pitch well. Luke Weaver, I'm a little concerned with him, but you know what? I think in the postseason we'll see a better version of him. They got to get that right because I think the starting rotation is going to keep them in games. Like Max Fried looks like he shook off the blister after that rough stretch. He's pitching like Max Fried, how we saw in the beginning of the year for most of this year. He picked up his 17th win of the season. He has a chance to win. I think he has a chance to win 20 games this year if he wins. I think he's got 3 starts left, right? So he could get to 20 wins. He's gonna have to win his next 3 starts, otherwise he has no chance. But if not, hey, look, you'll take it. Him and Rodon have been really good this year. Schlittler has been a revelation because with the injuries, especially with Garrett Cole getting hurt beginning of the year, but Clark Schmidt going down, that really hurt the Yankees and Heel obviously, but Schlittler coming up has really paid off, and he's gonna get postseason starts, and Heel looks like he's rounding into form. So I like the Yankees, at least going into the postseason, I like it. Bullpen scares me a little bit, and also, the Yankees, how are they going to do against good pitching? And last night, you see them strike out 12 times to Garrett Crochet, that worries me. But also, if you have Max Fried going up against Garrett Crochet, the Red Sox are not putting up 6 runs in the first inning. So, look, the Yankees, that the summer swoon is over, all right? They played well against good competition for the most part. Those 2 Tigers games really left a bad taste in my mouth. I feel like if they would have, at least if that only happened once and they won the game that I went to on Tuesday, because that game was close going into the 7th inning, then that kind of would have eased the pain a little bit. But because that happened twice, it just, Tigers are a good team. And they had a little bit of a scare with Tariq Skubal. He's going to be fine. So, in a short series, you're playing the Tigers because, that could be who they end up playing if they make it out of the wild card. You're seeing Tariq Skubal twice in a 5-game series. It's tough. So, a couple weeks away from the playoffs. But we'll go over the standings actually before we wrap up here. So, how everything currently stands at the moment. You look at the American League. So the Blue Jays right now, they have the best record in the American League by 2 games. So they're the 1 seed right now. Then you got the Mariners, the Mariners surpassed Houston. I didn't even realize that. Tigers are the 2 seed. So those 2 teams will have byes. Right now, the Mariners actually are ahead of the Astros. They're a game ahead of them. They've won 9 straight. They're 82-68, so they'll be playing in the wild card round. They would be playing against Houston. So then you got the Yankees as the first wild card. Then you got the Red Sox, who are a game and a half behind the Yankees. Then you got the Astros. You got the Rangers, who are 2 games back. The Guardians are 2.5 games back. So, that's not locked up yet. I mean, nothing's really locked up at this moment. And then you look over in the National League. Brewers and Phillies clinched playoff spots. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games, the Phillies. Brewers 91-59. I mean, right now it looks like, it's actually pretty close between them and the Phillies. The Phillies are separated by 2 games for the best record in baseball. So right now, those are the top 2 seeds. Then you got the Dodgers, who are behind them at 84-65. You got the Cubs, are the top wild card team. They're 3.5 games up on the Padres. Then you got the Mets, who are a game and a half back. They just ended their 8-game losing streak. They were tied for a split second with the Giants, but now the Giants just lost 2 games in a row, so now they fell back down. So now they're a game and a half back. Then you got the Diamondbacks, who sold the deadline. They're 2 games back. And then you got the Reds, who are 2.5 games back. They've lost 3 straight. Cardinals are 4 games back. Yeah, I mean, I don't see them making a run. You got the Marlins, who are 7 games back. Yeah, it's not going to happen. So that wild card spot, that third wild card spot in the National League is going to be something to pay attention to, because I mean the Mets, all the expectations going into this year, and they were playing really well. They were in first place, but I mean really even a little bit before the trade deadline, but they made all those moves at the trade deadline, and it's just gotten worse. It's gotten worse. At times they don't hit, and then at times they can't pitch. But that's what happens. You're relying so much on these young guys, Sprout, Tong, and McClain, who's been very good. And Sprout was good the other day. But I mean, you can't be relying on these young guys. I mean, they're just getting their feet wet. It was different. Like I was talking to my one friend who's a Met fan. It was different back in 2015 because at least Harvey had years under his belt. DeGrom had a year under his belt, and then you were bringing up Syndergaard, and then you were bringing up Matz, and then you also had you had Bartolo Colon also. It worked, but here it's like you're really relying on guys that are literally just coming up to be anchors in your rotation, because Sean Manaea, since he's been back, has not been good. Frankie Montas was not a good signing. Clay Holmes, I mean, he hasn't been bad for you, but he doesn't give you length. And honestly, he should be in the bullpen. The bullpen needs help. So, yeah, and then combined with just guys are struggling at the plate, this would be a colossal failure if they miss the playoffs. I mean, already, the fact that they're not going to win 90 games with this team, really. But, look, there's still time to right the ship. And if they can get into the playoffs, they're dangerous. They're dangerous. Because they got guys that can perform in the postseason. They got guys that perform in big moments. Pete Alonso, that home run off of Devin Williams last year. Lindor with the grand slam against the Phillies. And also don't forget about the grand slam. I'll go back even further. The grand slam against the Yankees when he was with Cleveland. Juan Soto, World Series champion. Look at what he did last year in the postseason. The home run off of Evan Gattis. I mean, they got guys that can perform in the postseason. It's just, are they going to have the pitching? And I'm talking about the lineup. Now we're talking about the pitching. That's their problem. And that's on the front office for not addressing and not adding a starter. Like, they went all in on the bullpen, and I guess they just figured, all right, Manaea's going to come back. Also, they had to send down Kodai Senga. So I guess they really just did not anticipate that this was all going to fall apart. At least this is me talking as an outsider of the Mets. But there was things they didn't. I don't think they anticipated to send down Kodai Senga. But that's what they had to do, and now this is why they have to rely on these young guys. But they should have gotten a starter. And I don't understand why you don't bring back Jose Quintana. Like, Severino, I get it. He gets the largest contract in A's history. But Jose Quintana was not bad for the Mets last year. And you don't sign him, and instead you bring in Frankie Montas. I didn't understand that. That was a real head scratcher for me. So, yeah, the Mets are in a bit of trouble. They're only 4 games over 500. They're clinging on to this wild card spot, and the teams that are behind them are teams that sold at the deadline. The Diamondbacks, the Cardinals, the Giants. Even the Giants sold. The Giants gave you a pitcher. So, yeah, and the Cardinals gave you a pitcher too, Ryan Helsley, who's not been good. So, yeah, Mets got to turn it around. And this potentially sets up a Dodgers-Mets wild card round game series. That would be something. Like, imagine those two teams playing against each other after they just played each other in the NLCS last year. They're playing in the wild card round now. That's what it's right now. That's what it is. Like, the Dodgers are 5 games behind the Phillies. There's no guarantee they're going to catch up to them. They're really running out of time. So we'll see, everybody. That's where we're at. We'll continue to give you recaps of the Yankees as we go along here, and I'll try to keep you updated with everything that's going around baseball. But yeah, Yankees take 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox. Start a series with the Twins tonight. 7-5 against the Gauntlet. 2 weeks left to go, everybody, and then we are in the playoffs. And the playoffs are going to be good. Playoffs are going to be good. So as always, everybody, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the video, to the channel. Make sure to follow us on the social media platforms in the description below. And wherever you get your podcasts, you can listen to us as well. Just look us up on Infinite Sports. Just look up Infinite Sports and you'll find us there. And as always, everybody, I'm your host, Kenneth Grunfelder, signing off. Have a good one. I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care.